equalizer in the 72nd. Tonight's game on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Adams Mark, the official team hotel of the Colorado Rapids. By True Green Chem Lawn, America's authority on lawn and landscape services. By Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers. And by the Village of Legacy Ridge, the official apartment community of choice for the Colorado Rapids. Back at the Home Depot Center, Rapids and the Galaxy about set to kick off tonight. Galaxy have owned this series 20-11-2 all time. They're plus 25 in goals scored, 60 goals to 35. Man in the middle tonight is Eric Simmons. This is his 9th game refereeing in Major League Soccer, and the Rapids ironically 0-3-0 in games that he has reffed. And underway in Carson, California, here's Matt Crawford, who heads it away out of the back. Far side, this is Henderson now. There's Chung, as Tom, as you said, a little withdrawn. Kobe Jones, first start of the season. Plays one through, but Cannon sees it all the way.
Well, and I think Chung, he's withdrawn for a number of reasons. Some have to do with his abilities to come off the dribble. His strength is definitely not playing with his back to goal, so it's good that he comes underneath. And also, you're playing one of the hottest teams in Major League Soccer. We've talked about the goal production of L.A., so why not keep a few more guys back behind the ball? Leave Pedro up as high as you can. And
Jones a step over, comes out to the left, tries to chip Ruiz, but Borges is there. Darryl Powell's first touch finds Beckerman, and he looks up. Kachial looks for options. Goes to Pedro, back to the ball, to the goal, and Suarez comes through him, and off to Karofsky. Herzog's pass gets away, but he cleans it up. The Austrian had to stop his run. Richie Kachial made an early stick. Borchers plays it to this near side, the right side. You see Matt Crawford still at his right back spot, and there's De La Torre in midfield because of the moves that Tim Hankinson made this week. Crawford, a little bit of room, he can look up. Stepped away by Bo to Kobe Jones. Jones had a bit of a knee injury in the first game, didn't play that game. Then he got in some time in the second game for LA. Then he had the tonsillectomy and came into the second half last week in Dallas and played well. In fact, Ziggy Schmidt said, you know, you got a guy that's got the knowledge. He's, you know, the seasoned veteran, and he had a lot of energy because he hasn't played a lot, and that really added up to L.A. getting that 3-1 win in Dallas last week.
Well, and the way that L.A. plays and giving Kobe the freedom to hang out up top on the far side occasionally gives L.A. a little bit of a three-front look, though he's not always up there.
There's the Rapids starting 11 brought to you by Legacy Ridge. Pedro up top, played for the Haitian national team midweek. Over the top, Ruiz getting in the box, and Borchers is going to run it down. And that touch got away from him. Throw-in coming up. Here's Victorine back from injury, had a bone spur, and that touch away from him. Sasha Victorine has missed a few games with a bone spur in his right ankle. Kind of expects to feel that for the rest of the season, but back in action tonight. And Beckerman just kind of clears it. Bo will run it down. He's got Albright to his right.
See, now in this setup, as LA brings it up just against the one high, Kobe Jones is able to push all the way up top and stand on the far right side. You don't see him on your screen now. Far right side, which makes Richie Kachial have to be aware, coming to the middle to defend, but also looking over his shoulder. See Kobe creep into the picture now on defense. So he gets back when he has to, and on attack he can push up and run at people. not having Kobe the last time these two teams met, obviously the Rapids didn't have to worry about his presence. Now, as hot as this front line is, the Rapids talked about having to come in and deal with those two guys up the middle, up front, and then you add Kobe to the mix.
Let's take a look at the starting 11 for the LA Galaxy, which is brought to you by Adams Mark Hotel. You see Ruiz and Karofsky up front, and Kobe Jones, as I mentioned already, making his first start of the season. Saragosa, by the way, is the injured player down in the middle of the field, the Brazilian. Getting some attention. Trained in France in the spring with the LA Galaxy. He's on loan from Sao Paulo. He was loaned out March 31st. And it looks like he'll be able to walk this off. Good look at he and Darryl Powell. I think you're getting kind of caught up yet.
Beckerman took a little swipe at him first, and Powell came over and finished the job.
So Saragosa will come over and check back in. Second Brazilian ever to play for the Galaxy. The first, Tom?
Marched out.
Welton. And whenever I say Welton, I think of Waldeer for some reason. As Jones runs down the right side.
That's a mistake you shouldn't make, by the way.
I know. Kobe Jones trying to get the cross. Cuts Kochel. Left foot. Good ball. Mastroeni there. Headed away by Powell, and De La Torre just clears.
Good job by Mastroeni to win the spot there, because Karofsky was crashing right where that ball was going to land. But Pablo, winning position as that cross came in, cleared it out of danger. You mentioned Waldeer had a couple of goals out here in LA back in the day for the Rapids.
Lewis plays it back to Herzog, one-timer. Ruiz is on. Mastroeni one-on-one. Kochel clears it out. Whenever we come here, I don't know why we always reference that game that happened at the Rose Bowl.
7-4.
It was 7-2 until like the 89th minute or something, and Waldeer scored 2 late goals. Ah, the Rapids days of Waldeer signs.
A lot of those guys have come and gone, but the Rapids have, I think, forever been in search of the twosome. They've been in search of two things: a true number 10, which they're hoping that De La Torre gives them a little piece of that, and a tandem up top. Two guys, not a one-man show. Spencer obviously has done the job the last couple of years. They bring in Pedro this year, and I think many who followed this team for years consider that potentially the best twosome they've had. And from what we've seen of little De La Torre, I mean, the guy can serve, he can play, he can get this guy the ball down the flank, Chris Henderson, and the Rapids have a pretty balanced team. Not the depth you'd want, but well balanced when everyone's healthy.
Chung had it stuck away by Herzog. Now here comes Jones down the right flank. Rapids are back. Trying to go inside out. And Borchers to Beckerman. De La Torre, who of course played well a month ago on the 17th of April as Chung sends one down the left side. Henderson a run on it. De La Torre played well in that game, that home opener against the Galaxy. He had tried out with the Galaxy and said he had a little incentive in that game. You really liked everything he did in that game.
Well, he was great in the first half, and most of the dangerous chances came from good flank service from De La Torre. In the second half, Coach Schmidt from the Galaxy made a little adjustment, stepped his outside midfielder up high so De La Torre couldn't just walk out of the back. And tonight, De La Torre starts at right mid. So far he's played defensive mid, outside back, and now right mid. It's yet to be seen if he can find the space that he found a month ago against the same Galaxy team. No doubt he's not surprising anyone. At this juncture in the season, everybody's had a chance to scout the teams.
There's Crawford looking for De La Torre, makes a run up the right side. Ruiz on him, cuts it in nice, gets it back. A little toe poke by De La Torre. Crawford sends the cross through, headed away. As Albright was on the end of that, and Bo just clears. And Beckerman can't get up on it. Foul called on Kyle Beckerman. Let's go back to De La Torre, and this is the quote that he came up with prior to that home opener against LA. As this one's going to run, as you see the ball running all the way to Cannon. And he did show him that night. Played well, and as Tom said, has played well. And could be one of the Latin players, one of the few Latin players that have worked out for this team. Here's Powell, little room through the middle, has Bo to beat, pulls it back. Now Beckerman plays Kochow. Pedro through the 18. Suarez on him, and that's going to run. It's still alive, so Hartman able to grab it. There's Kevin Hartman. He's played every minute of every game in goal. See Eric Simmons, the man in the middle tonight. There's Pedro. Crawford comes away with it. And there's Saragossa just clearing it out. As usual, nice day here in Southern California. A little humid for my liking.
I was going to say, you got to be kidding me.
Well, I
great.
live in a desert in Colorado. Suarez, a little kick from behind on De La Torre.
And then we saw De La Torre and Pedro hook up for Pedro's first MLS goal off the corner kick from this side. But Chung and De La Torre will talk it over. You know, if Chung hits this left-footed, bends it, he'll bend it around these two guys, and in that gap between the central player and the goalkeeper, try to tease Hartman a bit. Can whip that ball right in there behind the defense with his left foot. There's the ball, right into that gap. But none of the Rapid players able to get there first.
Did he come a little bit too near on that?
I think the ball was a little short.
Yeah.
That's the gap he wanted to hit, but he wanted to carry it a little bit past into that traffic of people. You know, when you can put it in behind the defense like that and everyone's crashing on the goalkeeper, you're looking for anything. A knockdown, an own goal, a Rapid player getting inside position. But you're right, Mark, you hit that a bit short. It's pretty easy to defend. And would have been hard to score had someone even gotten on the end of it.
There's Chris Albright over the top again, looking for Karofsky. Headed down, a little miscommunication, but Albright turns it back. Now Kobe Jones, who has Victorine behind him. Noodles and Company, from spicy to comforting, healthy to indulgent, there's something for everyone. Find your neighborhood Noodles and Company at noodles.com. Beckerman switches fields. Rapids will be in action next weekend at home against DC United. LA goes to DC this Wednesday. So United's got quick turnaround from a home game against the Galaxy midweek, and then they'll be in Colorado next Saturday. Little space for De La Torre. Lewis steps up. And that went off the head of Kochow.
Kobe Jones saw De La Torre winding up there and just put pressure on Kochow, forcing him to have to try to hit it first time wide to Henderson. And Kochow nods it out of bounds. And the Rapids having an easy time of getting the ball side to side, but having a difficult time getting vertical here. Part of it is the limited options up top, with Pedro the only guy really high.
Yeah, Chung is playing a little bit more.
Well, and here's what's happening. He's allowing Saragossa to pick him up. There's Saragossa comes in to get Powell, but he's allowing him to get in there and mark him, leaving 3, sometimes 4 Galaxy defenders to worry about Pedro. 1 against 3 along the back line doesn't make for a very good target if you're the Rapids trying to get up the field.
And if you're a fan, if you were at that home opener against LA, or if you watched it, and I remember, I'm noticing it already, Darryl Powell didn't play defensive mid. He pushed forward. And if I remember right, it was Kyle Beckerman said that they thought that Powell might be able to get a little bit more room up front, and it looks like they're employing that again here this evening. Over the top, Pedro on the run. Suarez one-on-one with him, trying to clip it to Henderson. Gets it on his left. Pedro still in the mix, and turned around by Saragossa.
4 Galaxy players did a pretty good job collapsing on Pedro and Henderson, but a decent ball by Powell. But, you know, with Powell in the middle and De La Torre wide, it's a totally different kind of ball up to the front runners. Last week, De La Torre played the middle with Beckerman. 2 did a nice job. New England did back off, gave De La Torre plenty of time to solve those problems. And I think the more De La Torre touches the ball, the better the Rapids are. When you play wide right mid, you've got defensive responsibilities. You're not going to get the ball as much. We'll see if the Beckerman-Powell combo stays intact as this game progresses.
Borchers a little bit of time, finds De La Torre. He can hold it as well. Switches fields, Albright on Henderson. Good idea, but a tough ball and good defense by Albright.
Well, there's a matchup of two guys. One young guy, one older guy, just strong on athleticism. Speaking of athleticism, take a look at Cannon. Two-time MLS All-Star, MLS Man of the Match versus Dallas.
That was in the opener, but how about last week?
It was unbelievable.
He took one off the jaw.
Well,
Taylor Twellman had a couple of point-blank shots on him.
And when we talk about the athleticism of some of these guys, that's a guy who relies on it quite frequently to make the save guys aren't supposed to make. And we talked about that also last week. In this league with the team so evenly matched, you want to win consistently, your keeper's got to make at least a save a game of a ball that should have gone in. And he did that last week 2 or 3 times.
And so far through about the first 15, I would say about 14 of the minutes, the ball's been in the center of the field. Neither keepers really had to even think about getting a touch on it. Beckerman midfield. Chung has De La Torre looking for a run. Looks up, sees Henderson, now plays Pedro. And Suarez, kind of a dangerous ball, but Hartman's there. He'll have to play it away. Kobe Jones, who is the career leader in points against Colorado in this series with 33, 12 goals and 9 assists. Lewis, a little run down the left side. Ruiz holds. Karofsky couldn't get on that one. Got over it, but kind of chopped on it, and it went wide. The reigning MLS Player of the Week. Crawford got a stick in on Ruiz. Now Borchers is through.
Look at all the Rapids guys on their own side of midfield with players on the ball looking forward, trying to go forward, nowhere to go, no way to go forward. Their only outlet is to get wide there to Henderson. Borchers broke free a second ago, looked up, there was just no one to give it to vertical. And now the Rapids, by connecting some passes, have gotten some guys in the attacking half of the field. That was good patience by Colorado because initially there was no breakout. There was no way to get forward. A little rushed on the shot from Beckerman. But if they find that wide pass and get 6-7 guys in the attacking half, they create something. But you can see, Mark, how difficult it's going to be for them to counter when they're committing so many guys to defensive numbers.
Foul on Borchers. Ruiz was onside. And Borchers brings him down. The yellow out for net.
Well, you saw Ruiz last week break free behind the defense, outrun his defender, do a somersault as he got taken out
by Garlick.
And got up to, this time, another good vertical run. And a little acting there on the part of Mr. Ruiz because there might have been some contact from Borchers, but not enough to drag him down. We'll get a good look here as to how hard it was. Well, I guess we won't get a good look there, but that may be a little bit more on the part of Ruiz than it was on the part of Borchers, but nevertheless, Simmons makes the call, and LA will have a dangerous restart.
Herzog near the ball, Karofsky and Saragosa as they talk it over. 25 plus out and right in the center of the field. See the wall the Rapids have set. Herzog pointing directions. Little touch, Herzog, one-timer, it gets through, and Cannon's on it. Deflected ball's always tough, but Joe Cannon able to smother it and trying to transition one down to Henderson. And Chris can't get the possession. Albright comes through it. They say play on, a good call by Simmons. Pedro was on. Suarez had his hand up, not going to get a call. Rapids trying to get through the 18. Here's Pedro. Over the top and away by Victorine. Ruiz on the run on the left side. Settle Crawford there. Looked for Kobe Jones, but found Richie Kachow instead.
And a good job by Kachow. Came inside to help him centrally and had his eye on Kobe. Could cut that pass off. Here's a good look at the shot. The whole thing's set up for Herzog, and he tags it, and you get that little deflection. Ball was probably going wide. That put it on frame, but Cannon had it all the way and makes the save look easy.
Just kind of ticked off of Kobe Jones. Gorofsky slicing through, has Kobe Jones wide open. Jones on the right. Kachow closes him down. Good ball. Borchers touches it. Pablo, a little bit of time, turns, and Powell can turn as well. Looks like that Albright-Henderson battle is going to be a good one tonight.
It's a good one. Both guys very fit, very strong, can run all day.
De La Torre looks up, sees Pedro making a run. Held off by Suarez. Pedro again, who hasn't had the ball at his feet much tonight. Early on here at the Home Depot Center.
Oh, Beckerman with another whack.
LA wants a card on Beckerman, not going to get it.
So far, 2 fouls Beckerman's committed in 1 attempt to foul. The entire Galaxy bench got up there giving the card signal, and Ziggy Schmidt holding up 3 fingers. That's his 3rd bad foul. Referee Eric Simmons opts not to card Beckerman.
Herzog through 4 of 5, then Borchers stuck an arm out. Herzog wanted another card on Borchers. That would have been obviously a red. Get a look at the 2 fouls. The first one that occurred on Beckerman. You said that Ziggy Schmidt wanted, a yellow here.
He wants to do heaven. You can see there, that's DeSensei sweeping the leg. And he gets up at the other end of the field now. That's a pretty big-time piece of work there from Herzog. And Borchers just levels the shoulder into him. Now, keep in mind here, Herzog had already undressed 3 guys and was going after his 4th. Actually, Borchers should have just stood his ground and contained him. Actually, slowed down and contained him. But instead, he decided to dive in and make the matter worse. Ended up making the foul. When a guy gets on a run like that, the last thing you want to do is feed him, because you know he's going to try to beat the next guy. Borchers needed just to hold his ground.
Ruiz is offside. This year, the Rapids have created the Foreign Fireworks Pack for 2004. Get any Rapids 4-game pack, and you get the 4th of July fireworks game for free. Packs for all 5 games start as low as $56 per seat. Call 303-825-GOLD to reserve your package now. Kind of getting a bad feeling the way this game is starting, Tom, for Colorado.
No, neither team has. I don't think so. Neither team has given up tremendous chances, Mark. And keep in mind what's at stake here and who's missing here for the Rapids with Spencer gone and one of the hottest teams in the league and 2 of the most dynamic forwards in the league. I mean, if you're Colorado, you're not coming in. You're not coming in here playing 5 forwards. You're coming in and you're playing 1 guy high and Chung underneath, and you got your good server wide right with De La Torre. So the fact that the slate is clean and another Galaxy guy goes down.
This little footwork, Gorofsky plays Ruiz through. Mastroeni and Ruiz one-on-one. That's going to be a nice matchup tonight, and Pablo wins it.
How good is Pablo Mastroeni, by the way? Watching him play for the U.S. team, watching him play for the Rapids, I mean, you're seeing the emergence of just a big-timer. In this league and internationally, Mastroeni is developing right before our very eyes.
This looks like it could be serious. Ruiz holding his right ankle.
He got in a little upper body tussle with Mastroeni. We'll see if anything happens at the other.
Well, that looked like some kind of a hyperextension as he kind of went out looking for the ball. And he's in pain. Carlos Ruiz 6 games against the Rapids, 6 goals. 6 games this year, 6 goals. He had a heavy work week last week. A couple of weekends ago, he was at New England with the Galaxy, then had to travel to play for the Guatemalan national team midweek against Haiti. That was a game that Pedro didn't play, and we get to see it again here.
Ruiz fights hard to get that inside position, plants his leg, and gets kicked by Mastroeni at the exact same time. Not really kicked, but there's contact there just as his ankle was planting. And that's where your ankle gives, or that little bone running up and down your shin gives.
Yeah, you see that, and that thing.
But right as he
bends.
planted, and Simmons given the signal for the stretcher, right as Ruiz planted his leg, and you could see it was a little hop because he had worked hard to get inside position and lost a little ground by fighting with the upper body. And they're giving the sub signal, so he's done for sure. And he kind of jumped to get back inside position on Mastroeni, and as he did, all that weight coming down on the one ankle, one foot, and you'll see contact made at the absolute, watch him fight here, and he kind of loses a little ground, so he'll lunge at the ball. There's the lunge, and right as he plants, there's the contact, and something obviously gave because he's in a lot of pain. There it is, kind of stepped on him as he put his foot and all his weight down on him. And we just talked about how awesome this twosome is for LA and how hot this LA team is. And you just don't replace a guy like this.
No.
You just don't. You don't replace Spencer. You don't replace Ruiz.
We were talking, coming here today. They've got 6 games under their belt as a duo. You got to figure that they're really just starting to feel each other out.
They've scored 11 goals, 9 between these two guys. And with Karofsky really getting comfortable within this team, you would figure more and more opportunities to open up for Ruiz.
Well, that's
a big blow for the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's the top MLS point man being carted off here. Happened at about the 24th minute or so, a couple of minutes ago in this game. And that's right directly in front of us at midfield as they take Ruiz to the locker room.
As we talked about, Ziggy Schmidt now has got to figure out life without Ruiz, at least for today.
And he'll go with Alejandro Moreno, the Venezuelan who has a goal this year in his 38 minutes of work. So Moreno in and Ruiz out.
And it came on a tough play by Mastroeni, but a good play. Fought the upper body fight, got good position. Just kind of untimely that he hit the ground just as Mastroeni made contact with him. I mentioned how impressed I've been with the growth of Mastroeni. We remember his debut in the World Cup and how wonderful he played for the U.S. national team. And he needed to get back on the back line for the Rapids in this season. He needed to play center back. And you've seen a guy who's been great, but is even getting better.
There's Beckerman on the run. Victorine catches up. Pedro couldn't turn it. Powell can look up. LA has their back line, a flat 3 at least near the 18. Henderson, yeah, that's a tough ball for Crawford. Not going to win the corner.
So you got to wonder as you watch Crawford at right back and De La Torre at right mid, if De La Torre has to keep coming inside to get Crawford the ball down the wing, should they be reversed? Because you want De La Torre with the service down the flank.
Henderson, a little arm swing on Kobe Jones, and that will result in another yellow. So the two UCLA alums get in on it. There's Henderson.
Boy, Pablo Mastroeni is having a go at his team right now. He is getting into everybody along this back line. As you watch Chris Henderson tried to go with the right, he wanted to take his shoulder right over the top, but instead he ended up kind of spinning him around. But prior to them being set up now to defend this set piece, Mastroeni really gave it to his teammates. He looked like he was getting at Powell as well.
Herzog has a lethal left into the box, still alive. Powell gets a clear on it, it's still alive. Cannon wins the jump ball and punches it out. But I think they're going to call foul on Suarez, or is it a corner coming up?
They give a corner.
So another corner coming up here for LA. There's Joe Cannon.
Cannon can't believe it because he went out to punch this ball. This is a great serve, by the way. Gets right in the gap. Looked like Albright was shooting in there between two Rapids players. And Cannon comes out to punch it. and he really got hit as he went up for that ball. And you know, there's got to be contact between goalkeeper and an attacker. But if the keeper's up making the play and you hit him when he's in the air, that's usually called. The Galaxy will get another corner for their efforts.
Another left from Herzog. Going deeper at the 18. Goal kick coming up for the Rapids. You know, I said, Tom, as we're 30 minutes in with no score, I said this didn't feel good for the Rapids. Well, Ruiz comes off about 5 minutes ago, and it could change things, but there's LA with a couple of shots from the corner.
Well, you don't get ready for the Galaxy without spending a lot of time talking about how to handle two guys of the caliber of Ruiz and Karofsky, and certainly that has changed a bit now. You don't ever want to see that change through injury, but the Rapids definitely have less to deal with at this stage of the game with Ruiz off.
Beckerman has Henderson wide, but goes to Chung. First time Chung has touched the ball in a while, and he gets run through by Saragosa. Restart coming up for Colorado. You have your hand up like, why not a card there?
Well, I mean, if he's going to call people for fouls from behind, clearly he caught up to Chung and fouled him from behind.
There's Powell. Gets a little room. Beckerman looking for help. Crawford coming up from the back, but Moreno's there. Borcher's going to send one in. He'll still hold on to it. Nat making a run, and how do you anticipate that? Would you rather, Tom, have a defender send that one in or continue his run? And
well, it was a good penetration on the dribble. Borcher's just got to slow down a little bit. Once he got himself into that area where he had some time, lift up his head, find somebody to combine with. Look, nobody's going to accuse Borcher's of being the playmaker here, but he got himself in good position. Just needed to complete a pass.
But you as a forward, and I know you played up top, don't you? You don't know how do you anticipate what he's going to do with it?
Well, you know, the forward kind of dictates that by the runs they make off the ball. And to be fair to Borcher's, I don't think he got a lot of good runs off the ball there.
Kobe Jones try to get around Beckerman. It's still on Kobe's right. Albright sends one through, away by Borchers. Albright had a nice ball into Karofsky last week in Dallas. That got him an assist on the year. Saragosa slides through. Can't get enough MLS action on TV? Well, sign up for MLS Direct Kick. You can call DirecTV at 1-800-DirecTV. DishNet, 1-800-333-DISH. Or you can also call 1-888-SPORTS-IN-DEMAND for In Demand. It's MLS Direct Kick.
Anywhere you got the Direct Kick dish, you can get this game.
Anywhere.
From Kenny, Texas, to Atlanta, Georgia, and beyond. You can pick up these MLS games, and anyone I know that follows this league has got that package.
Lewis up in the back has a little bit of room. Crawford will step up. Pablo reads it and slides through it. Great play.
Good read by Pablo to come across at just the right angle at just the right time to be able to cleanly tackle that ball away. Hey, the Rapids can't get out of their own end. The way the systems are set up now, the way the two teams are playing, when LA shows some patience in attack, Mark, they are backing 10 of the Rapid 11 players deep inside their own end. And when they look up, there's 2 or 3 Galaxy guys defending Pedro up top, and there's just no way out. The Rapids get pinned in and can't get out. And a lot of the freedom that Chung seems to be able to find as a wide midfielder, kind of had a breakout game, at least for this season, last week against New England, can't find that same space at attacking midfield / withdrawn forward. Call it what you like, but he is not on the front line.
Pedro trying to control it, can't, and Suarez comes through. Plays Herzog again. He's got the big left. Tees it up and can't curl it. And over the frame above Cannon. Tom was talking about how LA has been hot. You know, they got their first road win in 17 straight games last weekend in Dallas in that afternoon game. If they had lost that game, they would have tied the MLS record, which is 18 without a win on the road. DC's got that mark, but they got the win 3-1. Remember, last year they went the entire year without a road win, but did go 9-3 and 3 here at home.
Yeah, didn't win on the road and still made the playoffs.
Yeah.
don't have to be in this place long to see why a team might do well at home. You can't be inspired to play your best soccer in this facility. This is where the league's going. As more teams build these facilities, Dallas getting theirs finished for next year. We saw Columbus on the game of the week today. Denver to come. But this place is the crown jewel right now.
Women's national team is training here now, right?
They're somewhere in the vicinity, living in the Redondo Beach area, I think, and training here. Not bad.
Kobe Jones Cannon coming through, and that was a 50-50 ball, and it looks like Kobe's leg got a little bit of Joe Cannon, who's down again. Remember last week he took that whack.
I'm surprised Kobe's allowed to get away with that. I mean, his cleats are way up high on the tackle. No doubt Kobe had the athleticism to get his body up in the air. I mean, it wasn't like he was going after Cannon. It just didn't look like it at live speed. But we'll get another look here and watch Kobe go up for this ball. I mean, he's got a right to get after it. Man, he is up high, and the cleats almost hit Cannon in the face. As a matter of fact, Cannon's fist kind of punched Kobe's foot out of the way, or he might have caught Cannon in the neck. I mean, that's dangerous at least.
It's a good touch pass by Victorine. I didn't even know if...
Watch the cleats come up high here, and you just can't get up that high and hit the goalkeeper. Nothing from Eric Simmons. Nothing. Not even a conversation.
Might have been an elbow, too, from Kobe up high to Joe Cannon's neck. Cannon is still down to Scott Vallow, the backup keeper.
I mean, I think Kobe's got a right to go after that ball, and that's a tough call for the referee to make, because clearly Kobe got part of it, and so did Cannon. And certainly Cannon came out on the worst end of that deal.
At least sitting up. I said Vallow was kind of getting a jog in on the sidelines.
Kobe back in the lineup again after that extended time away. He's going to be called upon to step up big now with Ruiz gone. So far, Joe Cannon's stepped up big, and they won't need to make a change here.
And off to be into the game corner from Herzog. There's that left, headed down and off for the post and right to Joe Cannon. Boy, Albright got on the end of it, and it came off of the post right to Joe Cannon.
And I don't think through traffic, Cannon really saw it till he was beaten, and he turned around and it came right back to him.
He doesn't look right. You know,
look at this header here from Albright. I mean, that baby's going in. Cannon knows he's beat. Comes off the post, and look what I found.
He kind of played that corner passive, too, on his line, and it came right to him.
That's a great header from Albright. Can't believe his poor fortune there. Cannon get a little help from the post.
And the Village at Legacy Ridge, proudly managed by Quorum Real Estate Group, is the official apartment community of choice for the 2004 Colorado Rapids. And you can visit Legacy Ridge, 3850 West 112th Avenue in Westminster. Another foul on Powell.
Well, I'll tell you, this game has had zero rhythm as teams transition into the attack. As they've knocked it around in the back, they've let the defensive mids touch it, and everybody's knocking it around under no pressure, fine. That's not even rhythm you have to earn. That's just passing under no pressure. But as teams have tried to transition through the middle third of the field, there have been so many fouls that this game just doesn't have a whole lot of flow to it.
Albright holds, now gets the cross off of Conchial. Another corner coming up. It's worth mentioning, too, 10 minutes or so, give or take a minute or two ago, Carlos Ruiz off with an ankle injury, and it looks serious. That's why Moreno is in, and up top with Karofsky. Here is Karofsky. Foul away.
Yeah, the Galaxy went for the big back post ball like the Rapids did last week for Chung and Henderson. And that one was going to go to Herzog, and he had the big left ready to smack it. But Powell headed it clear. You know, there's a lure for that corner kick in this league, but we haven't seen a whole lot of it, a whole lot of success from it in the past couple of years.
Chung has hardly any help here and switches fields now. Conchial playing Henderson with room as Albright tries to catch up. Waits for the run, fakes. Now can cut in. De La Torre is open here on the near side, and Powell plays him. Looking for Henderson. Henderson right at Hartman.
And that's the kind of thing De La Torre does. You sit there, oh, it's an easy ball into Henderson. But there's only one guy on the field that's delivering that ball for Colorado, and that's De La Torre. Gets a nice little ball on the flank and just dinks it right into Henderson, who's able to wheel and hit it. And for De La Torre, he can do that in his sleep. But it's a guy that's got to do it for the Rapids to get those kinds of balls inside to players in good positions.
40 minutes in, no score here in Los Angeles. Mark Stout and Tom Stone. Rapids trying to get some precious points as De La Torre comes up again on the right side. Another through ball. There's Pedro trying to step it down. A little bit of time. Henderson trying to do Albright. Right foot. Henderson's cross away, and now Herzog just touches it out.
And there was another good ball inside to Pedro, who's had, severe numerical disadvantage for himself today. Kind of being a little bit of a lone ranger, but De La Torre still got him the ball.
Ooh, that was a dangerous ball by Lewis, and Powell read it. Lewis with another bad ball. Pedro can turn on it. He's got Bo on him and Suarez. And into a crowd.
Pedro now with 2 opportunities to make something happen right around the top of the box.
And I'll tell you why Hartman rolled that out, because Ryan Suarez, who I think deflected that ball, kind of hunched over on the back line.
Yeah, when Pedro spun to hit that ball, 3 Galaxy guys collapsed on him.
Suarez, who came over here from Dallas in a trade last year. Remember, Suarez was an all-star in 2002. And he just doesn't feel right.
Could be the full 90s, a little bit too tight around his head. What do you think? How much grief are you getting in the locker room when you're strapping that on?
It's tough, huh?
I don't know.
Did you ever get any grief in the locker room?
Not for putting a headgear on. That wasn't going to happen.
But for other things, right?
No. I didn't like playing with rec players like yourself.
Yeah.
That was the only time I got in trouble. Well, Kobe's caught some problems already tonight. And I'll tell you what, that guy, the quickness, his first 2 or 3 steps have always been a problem for his opponents. Can stop, change direction. That time Pedro gets a little upper body. And you know what else? He gets that I'm a veteran foul. That's what he gets. He's been around. He's played, a zillion games in the league and for the Galaxy and the national team, and he's an icon. I mean, if you polled youth soccer players in this country, showed them that face, they know exactly who that guy is.
They know.
More than maybe any other guy in the MLS. And it's not just from his playing either. That's a guy who's been extremely involved in multiple aspects of developing this league. And he gets those calls.
Saw some fans that might know Kobe. Hey, visit Six Flags Elitch Gardens on Father's Day. It's coming up June 20th. And you can also meet the Rapids. They'll be there and get a free Grand Prix race ticket. If you wear a soccer jersey, you'll get a buy one, get one free admission as well. It's a great day on Father's Day at Six Flags. Crawford steps that one down, and the Rapids stood. Borchers sees this. Chung showed. Borchers gets it back. Beckerman, a little bit of space on Kobe Jones. Good step over. Still the Rapids kind of just get stuck. Now Powell with a left. Into the box. Henderson's back post. Albright on it. And there's Henderson, who is stuck on 99 points in his Colorado career. Kochal sends one in. Chung couldn't get on it. De La Torre holds. Takes a left, and the left got away from him. He took that right. You remember the first game when he chipped Hartman?
From 50?
Yeah. I don't think Hartman's thinking about that tonight.
There's no chance of Hartman getting caught off his line
Right.
for a free kick tonight. None whatsoever.
See Kevin Hartman in his 8th year. Number 2 on this team to Kobe Jones in terms of tenure. The ball to Chung. Chung's done a lot of coming back to the ball tonight. Bad ball in Karofsky. Doesn't have numbers, but he has Moreno. Slows it up, trying to beat Borchers. One-on-one. Crawford with a stick, and De La Torre at least able to clear. 3 minutes going to be added on here in the first half. And Matt Crawford is down inside the 18 near the Rapids goal. A similar spot where Carlos Ruiz went down around the 25th minute. Ruiz had to be stretchered off. Rapids don't exactly have a thick bench tonight with the injuries. They've got Gary Sullivan, Zach Kingsley, Seth Tremblay, and David Castellanos on their bench.
Well, after the poor Rapid giveaway right in the middle third of the field, Crawford's forced to make a tough tackle on Moreno right at the top of the box, cuts inside of Borchers, and there's Crawford. Perfect positioning. Good two-man defensive stand by the Rapids. One guy forced him inside. Crawford there to make the crunch, but got himself crunched a little in the process. You know, there's been some nice individual moments in this game from players on both teams, but just nothing real cohesive. Nothing involving 3 or 4 guys at a time. And no real semblance of attacking from the Rapids.
Lewis continues his run, has a left, and didn't get much on it. Borchers has time. He sees Henderson, who switched here to the right. Again, they've added 3 on here in the first half. Pedro, tough trap, but gets it to Chung. Tried to turn it. Powell's there. Henderson has all kinds of room. Has to touch it to himself now. That's right at Hartman.
Yeah, Hartman read that. He was actually coming for it before Henderson even made contact. Great job by Pedro to hold the ball that time and get his team up the field. Henderson was the beneficiary, but didn't get the serve off that he wanted. You know, if you're going to play one guy that high, he's got to hold it there. Pedro did a nice job of it. You mentioned Chung. I mean, Chung's had to come back for the ball a ton. Chung has worked hard, has not got the ball in any of the areas that Mark Chung becomes dangerous in. He's got it in very high traffic areas with a lot of guys between himself and the end line or the goal.
Agreed. He's playing that withdrawn forward tonight with Spencer out and Castellanos on the bench. They let that play on. Henderson wanted a foul, but he's just been coming back to the ball, showing, and maybe just, you know, touching it away.
And you understand the thought process, and I don't even know if it's necessarily a bad move, but the way coming into the game, but the way the game has played out, you wonder if there's not some wide space that he could get into and cause some more problems for his team.
They get a group of friends together and come out and see the Rapids. They've got discounted tickets available for groups of 10 or more. Just call that number on your screen, 303-825-GOAL, and get your group out to see the Rapids. Winding down the first half here, about a minute to go, as Moreno gets stripped on that side, and Albrecht's going to be able to put it down, and actually they'll take the throw. No call, just the out ball. Here's Victorine. Kobe Jones, nobody around him, able to turn on it. There's De La Torre, who switched sides with Henderson here at the end of the half. Suarez all over Pedro. At least Pedro is through. Here's the Haitian trying to get to the box, still on it, still dribbling, and there's a flag up.
Ball was out of bounds about 10 seconds ago.
Must have rolled over that touch line.
Pedro was cooking to go get it, but after the wrestling match with he and Suarez, it's definitely a foul as the ball was played up top. These two guys with the bear hug, but Pedro had already dribbled it out of bounds before he got around the end line. Or actually didn't dribble it out of bounds. The ball ran out of bounds before he could get there.
Back heel. Beckerman slid from behind by Herzog. I think you got to call that, don't you?
Yeah. Simmons was going to let that go until Beckerman went down, and then he called it back. He didn't blow the whistle initially. He was going to see if that play developed, I believe. Yeah. I'm not sure Herzog had any problem understanding what Beckerman was saying. He just kind of laughed at him. Yeah, you can't go through the guy to get the ball.
Beckerman got a touch on it.
No doubt that's a foul, and the Rapids will get a chance here. Not much time remaining at the referee's discretion.
Yeah, we'll see. This ought to do it for the first half. Scoreless first half thus far. We'll see if this free kick.
Chung on the left, De La Torre with the right foot.
Chung with the left. It's the wall. Hartman on it. Eric Simmons blows the whistle. So 45 plus in the books, and a major story, Carlos Ruiz injured in the first half and stretchered off. Mark Chung is playing up top tonight with Pedro. Trying to be active. Tim Hankinson will talk to his team in the locker room. No score here at halftime at the Home Depot Center. 45 in the books. We're coming back here. 0-0 at half. Tonight's game on Fox Sports Net has been brought to you by the Village at Legacy Ridge, the official apartment community of choice for the Colorado Rapids. By Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers. By Adams Mark, the official team hotel of the Colorado Rapids. And by True Green Chem Lawn, America's authority on lawn and landscape services. Back at the Home Depot Center, Mark's down to Tom Stone as the Rapids make their way back onto the field. We haven't gotten an absolute update, Tom, on the injury to Carlos Ruiz, but we heard that I think he's at least been ambulanced out of here, and you would figure x-rays are in line for that ankle at least. And it didn't look good about 25 minutes in, and that man Ziggy Schmid's going to have to worry about that. I mean, that could be crucial to the LA Galaxy season, obviously, with Ruiz.
And this has been a pretty physical game. I mean, 15 fouls already in the first half, and some of them have been of the more vicious nature. You'll get a look at some of them here. In some cases, guys went down without too much of a foul, but in others, it was pretty physical. There's one there from Borchers where he caught Herzog. Wrestling match there with Kobe.
Yeah, that was
Beckerman got one from behind, and we remember Chung got one from behind as well. And then there's the play that, well, it wasn't a foul, but the play that led to Ruiz's injury.
Borchers and Henderson have yellows here in the first half.
And I suspect the next foul from Beckerman will get him one as well.
Here's your second half stat. Rapids have 3 goals this season. They have not scored in the second half in their 5 games this year. In this series, LA has outscored the Rapids all time 34-14 in the second half. They're plus 20 goals wise in this series in the second half. Now Beckerman left it a little short for Crawford, and Lewis trips up Henderson.
You know, the good news is, and we talked about it with Pablo early on, in the first question of the interview, the Rapids have got to be fairly pleased with the fact that their defense is continuing to come together here. They're against one of the hottest goal-scoring teams in the league, and they've kept the slate clean, and really no clear-cut bad misses on the part of the Galaxy. And for a team that's as hot as they are, and the Rapids playing with some guys in different positions, the result right now is not out of line. They're going to need to connect and get more guys forward.
Tim Hankinson taking notes.
If they want to have more quality attacks. In terms of their defense, it's been pretty solid.
Quick restart on the foul. Chung to Powell. Switching fields, Kochout out. Tough ball from De La Torre, kind of double hit it, but he gets it back. Throw-in coming up for the Rapids.
De La Torre, who comes out to start the second half on the left side. It's where he finished the first half, and now Henderson on the right, where he finished the first half.
Pedro gets through Suarez. Stuck by Albright. Good work by Powell. Little chip through. Here's Chung. Waiting for Beckerman to make a run. At least take somebody away from him. Plays Crawford. Beckerman goes at it with a left and nowhere near the frame.
Not exactly what Beckerman probably had hoped for after an attack that had some numbers working for him on the far right side, but Crawford didn't look like he wanted to join him, and that attack kind of slowed down, and next thing you know, Beckerman hits it wide.
The thing about that attack to me, Tom, is we've seen it time and time with the Rapids. When Mark Chung gets the ball on his right and he's going to the right, it kind of just fizzles out because you know that he wants it on his left, and he's going that way. And he was looking for help as soon as he got it. Now here he is. He can run at the goal right with his left. Couldn't get it through Bo. Rapids are back. It's a 3-on-4, 3v4. Pablo going to let this run and get on Kurofsky. But you mentioned the Rapids have been back kind of all night.
But they've defended well. And
Right.
We haven't heard much from Kurofsky. We hadn't heard a whole lot from Ruiz before he got hurt. You know, the one chance came from Albright header, you know, which is one of their defenders, off the post and back to Cannon.
Can I ask you another question, Tom? Do they
How
ever
much?
call a foul throw ever?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I just watched Herzog wind that up with like a huge curve and no call. See the foul here on a Bo on Pedro, resulting in a yellow card on the South Korean. Yep, little elbow to the head. There's Pedro.
And getting held.
Yep. Played midweek for Haiti, had 2 assists in a 3-3 game. There's Bo. He's missed some action because of injury and just not getting in the lineup, not getting to the 11 for Ziggy Schmidt. Crawford looking for help, but gets around Victorine. Beckerman maybe thinking about a shot, chips one in, looking for a run, and Hartman's on it.
Twice now in the opening minutes, the Rapids have had the ball with 5 or 6 guys in the final third. The Galaxy doing a good job of defending around the perimeter. You know, you can get down there on top of the other team, Mark, but that doesn't mean you're going to be able to break them down.
Cannon's off his line, so Mastroeni plays it away.
That's one of the confusing things as people grow to understand the professional game, is the whole reality that you can have the ball you want where the other team's letting you have the ball. And the Rapids getting to the top around the top of the D now twice fairly easily, but LA very comfortable defending around the top of their 18 and not giving up anything from those Rapid attacks.
Kachiel long out of the back. We'll see if this runs. Suarez plays off Pedro and wins the foul. Something else that you mentioned too. A lot of talk about how the Rapids have only scored 3 goals. But you kind of think that, you know, they haven't finished, but they've had chances to finish. And
Tonight notwithstanding,
Yeah.
they have not created a ton of chances. I mean, just overrun with chances against New England. Had chances against their, you know, against LA a month ago. And you're right, when you've got your chance finishing maestro on the bench in Spencer, if you're creating chances, you got to feel pretty good about this team early in the season. If you're not creating chances, it doesn't matter if Spencer's out there or not. Up until tonight, the Rapids have been creating these chances, have had nobody to finish them.
Beckerman can look up.
And that's why the 3-goal total doesn't bother you too much in this scenario. And what you're excited about is how the defense have played.
There's Chung now on his left. A run from De La Torre. Jones backheeled it out. All the way Spencer running hard this week. Should train next week. Beckerman's shot goes wide. So Spinney could be in the lineup next weekend at home against DC. Near side, it's Albright. Powell sees Pedro, shows, gets it, and over the top. You can visit Six Flags Elitch Gardens on Father's Day. It's June 20th. The Rapids are going to be there. Meet them and get a free Grand Prix race ticket too. And if you wear a soccer jersey, buy one, get one free admission. It's coming up on Father's Day. Kobe Jones can look at goal. A couple of touches. Couldn't get it outside. Albright making a run. Powell, a little poke away. Comes Pablo, left side, plays Chung. Left him out to dry, though. Hung him out there. And Jones with a steal.
Yeah, Pablo giving Chung a ball that Kobe could tee off on. Makes Chung pay.
Kurofsky had a big week last week in Dallas, but had to play it back here. Flag is up. He's offside. Thought he was at least even, but he was off on that run with Borchers on him. Jovan Kurofsky, 13 years ago in Southern California, played club ball for the La Jolla Nomads, and now back in the States and in Southern California.
He's one of Derek Armstrong's boys. One of the guys to get overseas and and do his thing. Unfortunately, we talked about this a little bit at the beginning.
Yep.
8 years, 5 different European clubs, and only 10 goals to show for it. A little bit misleading because he just never got a regular place, except maybe a few stints here at Crystal Palace, but never got a regular place where he was a soccer player all the time. And I think that's one of the things that, from what we hear, has made him come alive here in MLS, is that he's a part of the reason this team's going to win or lose. And it's the first time he's had that feeling, you know, in recent history for him. A lot of guys go over there and experience that for a few years, and they either break in and get to make a career overseas, or they come back and hope to have it here.
Mark Stout and Tom Stone, we're here in Carson, California, the Home Depot Center. It's the home of the Galaxy as Cobi Jones makes a move. No score early in the second half. Jones tried a one-on-one De La Torre, who bodies him off, and that's...
I tell you, if De La Torre just kept his arm down,
I don't know about that.
If De La Torre just keeps his arm down, it's a brilliant play. He read Cobi Jones. I mean, you're not talking about, that is a mismatch right there for speed, folks. Cobi can blow by De La Torre, but look at De La Torre read step in, but his elbow was up and he was a little bit too far away from being able to play the ball.
They called it on the second foul, though.
It's a great read by De La Torre, but he's just a little too far away from being able to play the ball.
Herzog with a left. And every time that guy's got a left on a free kick or a corner, it's dangerous in the box.
De La Torre's upset because he knows he read it all the way. He knows he stepped in at just the right moment. But he's a little high with the right arm and a little far for the ball.
Yeah, but I think it's a late call. Watch, they call him. Here's the first foul right here, which to me is a little bit more of a foul as he holds. But here,
no,
that's when they called it.
Well, no, the flag went up right away, but the referee was probably watching to see if Cobi was going to take it on past De La Torre.
Henderson. Chung tries to leave it for Pedro. Suarez and Hartman had a little miscommunication. He plays it out. Corner coming up.
This is what you call a soft corner. Under no pressure, and Suarez knocks it out of bounds for a corner. The Rapids don't really earn this corner, although the presence of Pedro certainly contributed to it. But when soft corners come back to haunt you, it's about as frustrating a thing for a defense and a coaching staff as you can imagine.
Chung, Henderson is near him, set up for the short corner if they want it. Borchers, Powell, Beckerman in the box. They go short. De La Torre tried to touch one up to Henderson, a design play that didn't work. Last week, Dallas had a design play early on that worked on a corner to Ronnie O'Brien. Karofsky in a hold, has Albright on his right if he needs him. And took the shot, saw a little opening on the 18, didn't get it near Joe Cannon.
Karofsky had some nice options there. He had a little shooting lane, which he chose to take. And the good run by Albrecht is what made the Rapids defense expand and give him that. Watch the overlapping run there, creates the little lane that kind of opened and then closed quickly.
Well, how about Pablo playing both sides?
Pablo shows him the one and then tries to close the door. Karofsky still gets the shot off. You mentioned the corner that Dallas ran that worked. That was the exact same corner just now.
That was a play, right?
The one the Rapids tried to run was the exact same corner you were talking about that the Burn pulled off like magic. And it's a little 1-2-3 right down the end line. You get a guy running right at the near post. The Rapids not nearly as efficient as the Burn on that corner.
Yeah, because the pass that De La Torre tried to Henderson was a little chip. That ball came to O'Brien and he sent it through the middle, and Dallas scored. Klecko scored on a gimme.
Another foul in the middle third of the field. And the Rapids will get to restart it. And with a restart, the Rapids had 2 guys beyond the ball before that ball was kicked. That tells you a little bit something about their unwillingness to overcommit here on attack. Away from home, missing a couple guys.
Yeah, I looked down at the Rapids bench, and both Tim Hankinson and Steve Tritchie a little clap after that effort by Darryl Powell. Back from injury. MLS fans, check out the MLS Fantasy Challenge. You can log on to MLSnet.com and register your team today and get online and start playing. If you have Carlos Ruiz on your team, I got bad news for you. Went out of this game in the 25th minute, stretchered off. We have not gotten a definitive update, but it looks like some kind of serious ankle injury. Pedro. Hartman comes out on his line. Still alive. Hartman clears it away. Jones with a little time. Looking for an outlet.
Good job by Chung to throw himself in there. That collision kind of sprung Pedro. Hartman has to come out and make the big save.
Skips away from Mastroeni and he touches it to Kacha. Beckerman can turn and look. Has a little time. Kind of like Pedro up top with Suarez on him. I'm still thinking something might get through. There's Pedro making a run. Trying to get by Suarez. Back heel. Henderson with the right. Henderson gets one off, but into the side net.
Pedro does a nice job of shooting the seam there, and he had Suarez right where he wanted him on his left hip. So any ball inside of Pedro would be his all the way. Draws the central defender out of the play, and a nice little back heel to Henderson, who's got to get that on frame. I mean, the Rapids have not had nearly enough looks tonight, nearly enough opportunities from that distance. And Henderson, who made a great run to get open, and I think knew the back heel was coming, but tags into the outside netting. On the road with really one guy high for the Rapids, those chances don't come too often. And don't misunderstand, you can play a 4-5-1, which the Rapids are claiming they're in a 4-4-2, but with the withdrawn guy. But you can play with one high guy and still get an incredible attack out of it. Tons of guys forward. That's if you're willing to commit them. And in this case, the Gauchos have done a pretty good job of pinning Colorado in, especially in the first half.
Moreno had to kind of hold his run up. He's on the left off of Borchers. Another corner coming up. There's Nato had to stick a foot out on that man. Alejandro Moreno, who went to UNC Greensboro and has been a valuable guy for Ziggy Schmidt over the past few years. Speed and energy guy at the end of games. He had to sub Carlos Ruiz early on in this game. Herzog's left. Headed down off of Albright. No handball called, but cleared away. Chung pushing behind. Wants a call. Nothing. Suarez. And Joe Cannon says let it run. No harm done. Hour into this game. No score. The defense for the Rapids only allowed 4 goals in the previous 5 games. And as of now, they have a new team record there for goals against average.
In the last 5 years with the Rapids, no matter how well they did in certain areas of the game, keeping the ball in the back of their net has always been a problem.
Kobe Jones at the 18 with the right. Cannon can't get on it, and Moreno cleans it up.
Almost on cue for the Rapids. We just praised their defense, but mentioned their history of having a hard time keeping the ball out of the net. That time, it's got to fall on the shoulders of Joe Cannon, who probably should have held on to that initial shot. But the Gauchos did a nice job of breaking the Rapids defense down, getting into the 18. There's the initial shot. Cannon gets a paw on it, but pushes it right into Moreno. And the guy who comes on for Carlos Ruiz with the injury puts his Galaxy team ahead. Kobe with a pretty good shot, and Cannon got down. It was in his, it was in range for Cannon to hold on to. And Joe will be the first one to admit that, I'm sure.
You always say, Tom, your keeper's got to make that save that keeps you in the game.
It's probably one of the ones he's got to make. So, give Jones credit for a hard shot and give Moreno credit for the follow-up. And that's why you've got guys who come off the bench and score goals for you. For a guy who usually given late inning relief, getting a good chunk of this game, and eases the pain ever so slightly for Coach Ziggy Schmidt, the loss of Ruiz. And if they do hold on, Ziggy will be quick to get on the phone and find out what's happened to his superstar forward. But in the meantime, pretty happy with his reserve in Moreno.
He came on officially in the 27th minute. Ruiz was injured about 25 minutes in. And Moreno comes up with his second goal of the season. Prior to tonight, he had only played 38 minutes in 4 games. As we mentioned, uses kind of an energy guy, a sub. A late inning guy, as Tom said. There's the goal scorer.
And let me tell you where that really hurts the psyche of the Rapids defense. They have played well. They have not given up clear-cut chances. Pablo has been big time. Then you give up what's kind of a soft goal. And it is devastating because you're on the road. We've talked about all the factors the Rapids are dealing with here. And to give up that goal at this stage of the game, pretty painful.
Moreno steps it down, tried to find Kobe Jones, and Kobe kind of looks at him like, hey, man, where do you want me to go on that one? Throwing coming in for the Rapids. Pablo. Good work. Right, Crawford. Beckerman tried to play it by Zaragoza. He gets by on his own. Cuts through. Stops his run. Looks for help. Crawford making a run. De La Torre out to the right side. Little chip. Back post Powell's here, but it headed away by Albright, who's done a good job on those kind of through balls and crosses all night.
Well, that's one of the first times we've seen De La Torre get into the final third with an opportunity to serve from the flank. He was so effective in the first 45 minutes against LA a month ago. We've seen his ability to pass the ball constructively and get players the ball in places that they want to get it. And De La Torre has been a non-factor so far tonight.
Pedro one-on-one with Bo. Looks up to see who's in the middle. Cuts through. Kind of faked a foul and didn't get the call. Rapids 3-13 all time on the road against LA. They did win here last year on the John Spencer goal in July. Karofsky, Herzog, try to flip one over. Moreno now. He can't get it down as Crawford runs through it. See Chung with his head down as this Rapids offense continues to sputter. Moreno has the goal for LA, scored about 3 minutes ago. Henderson waited for Pedro to get onside and then dribbled himself into trouble. That's why he turned around.
But Henderson's coming sideways, and he's got 6 guys between he and Pedro's the only guy past the ball. If you're in the attacking half, by the way, you generally need someone past you if you have the ball at your feet so that the ball can be advanced. It's got to be an outside back coming through, a midfielder passing you, another forward getting past the ball. And that has been a problem for Colorado all night.
With a run by Chung. Pedro's off. I'm pretty sure I wrote down the offsides on a Pedro coming into this game. Definitely leads the team in that category. We were talking about him being offsides last week against New England.
Well, a forward's always going to lead
Yeah.
your team in offside, and you love a guy that loves to test the line. And you just hope that for the times that he runs off, there's also a dozen or more times during the year that he hits it just right and gets in on goal and finishes his chances. You remember in the opening minutes of his season, he had a breakaway from doing that and missed.
Kobe Jones down the right side. Through. Karofsky tried to play it back to Herzog. He had a great idea and just missed it.
Karofsky not happy with himself because he saw Herzog the whole way, but wasn't able to take enough off the pace of the cross from Kobe to set it down.
Great idea. Here's Kobe again. Kobe Jones, talked about him at the beginning of the game, Tom, and you know every game against the Rapids, it plays a factor.
Kobe has the Rapids like Bravo had San Jose back in the day. Just never failed if there was a game between those two teams. And Kobe gets the shot tonight that leads to the goal.
Yeah. Help manufacture it. Karofsky had a header right on there. Cannon saw it. Rapids trying to make a little bit of a run. Zaragoza one-on-one with Henderson. Fakes the cross, cuts it. Cuts it again. Beckerman continues a run. Tries to get by Kobe Jones in the 18, and Jones got some help.
was a nice little cutback from Beckerman, as you say, Mark. Jones got a little help on the other side. LA has done a good job tonight using their numbers in the back to corral individual Rapid players who've had the ball in some dangerous areas.
Victorine just got himself out of trouble. Saragosa now looking for help. Herzog, a little elbow from Crawford. Call on Crawford. By the way, looking at the Rapids bench below us, it looks like Seth Tremblay is going to come on here probably in the 70th minute or so and play the final 20. Let's see what Hankinson does with Tremblay. Here's the Victorine. Nice little lead. Oh, if that gets through, Karofsky is at the 18 and on the run. In on goal. Tough touch for De La Torre. Bo just plays it away, and now off and running is Kobe Jones again. Kobe going right at the defense. Pablo looking for help. Nice little toe poke, and Henderson get on it. Beaten to it by Suarez, and he hit it right into Henderson. Let's go back to the goal in the 62nd minute. Alejandro Moreno.
Watch the build-up here. It all starts with a nice ball redirected inside to Karofsky. He knows exactly where he's going straight away to Herzog. And Herzog took a little peek and saw the overlapping Kobe Jones. That's a lot of different players involved in that attack. The shot by Kobe and the follow-up by Moreno. But that's 4 or 5 guys moving in sync there, Mark, covering about 55 yards. As we see the Rapids make a change, Tremblay for De La Torre, who does not look happy to come off, or maybe he's not happy with his game. Kobe Jones will come off as well. Probably a good sub. We talked about the time Kobe's had off.
Yep.
You know, he made the goal happen and get him out of there.
Played 45 last week, gets 70 in this week. The rookie Joseph Engenwa, who started the game in Dallas last week and really wasn't productive in the first half. He was subbed at half by Kobe Jones. Now he's on. So Tremblay in at midfield for De La Torre. Beckerman to himself. Saragosa runs it down from behind. It's a good play on, although Beckerman not happy about it. Crawford got a lot of that. Back post, Henderson keeps it alive. Pedro scores to tie the game. What a play by Chris Henderson, who gets his 100th point as a Rapid on the assist to Pedro. The Haitian gets his second MLS goal, both against the LA Galaxy.
On a cross from Crawford that I thought was way too deep, I forgot about Chris Henderson, the guy who never gives up on a ball out of bounds, who never stops turning that engine, and he pulls one back off the end line, and Pedro didn't give up on him, fills the lane, and as Henderson brought it back, Pedro slaps it home and takes the Rapids even. When this game had just settled into that category of, will the Galaxy blow it out? They're taking Jones off, they're getting subs on, they're getting legs here. Rapids have already pulled De La Torre, and in a blink of an eye, Pedro scores a huge away goal for the Rapids. And I was critical of Crawford's service in game 1 that we did here, Mark. And I'll tell you what, that's a big-time back post serve I thought was gone. And Henderson ran it down. And good thing for the Rapids, Pedro did not give up on Chris Henderson. He must have seen the other 99 points that workhorse has been a part of. And he'll remember his 100th point in the MLS because that's a beauty.
Great play by Henderson. And then Pedro, near the 6, just outside footed it and showed us his tribute to John Spencer, to the captain, who's back in Colorado watching tonight. Probably feeling a little better about his team. Captain could be back next weekend at home against D.C. Henderson switches field. Seth Tremblay going to step it down.
One of the things we talked about last week, too, as we watched Spencer on the sideline, is this is a player who does more than just put the ball in the back of the net for this team.
Beckerman, little look at goal, got a left off, but nothing on it.
This is a leader in Spencer. This is an organizer. This is the coach on the field. And who is going to step up in that role in his absence? We've seen Pablo on the back line step up in that role. We heard him in the paper calling his team out a little bit. And we've seen Pedro tonight step up and score a big-time goal. A lot of soccer left here for the Rapids, for sure. But the dynamic couldn't have changed quicker in a game that looked like it was going to get salted away by the Galaxy.
So true, because we have seen that, especially in these games we've done in Los Angeles, whether it be the Rose Bowl, in Pasadena, whether it be here. You always get that feeling with L.A.
I mean,
that's a hard foul by Albright, and
card,
yeah, rightly so, a yellow coming out. Henderson's going to have it.
Henderson's probably lucky he was airborne.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't planted when he got hit.
You ought to be able to walk that off.
Now he kind of senses it and jumps up in the air. And I tell you what, that's one of those things you get to Charlie in the quad. Henderson took a pretty good knock there. But he can just remind Albright about what happened 3 minutes ago.
And what happened was his 100th point. As a Rapid ties Paul Bravo.
Oh, he ties my boy Bravs. Paul Bravo, who retired from the Rapids and now coaches at UCLA. Probably in the building here tonight, if not at home. Happy that we're talking about him. Watching it on the MLS Direct kick, no doubt.
Talking about him because Chris Henderson came up with a point and the Rapids get a goal. Albright cuts through. Not a bad idea, but Ngenwa didn't see it.
You know, this is a guy, too, Chris Henderson, who, if you remember, when the MLS began, was not one of these guys that everyone thought was immediately going to be, you know, one of the Americans that they were going to build teams around. And from opening day here with Colorado, and has some tremendous memories, the flying side volley to win the playoff game at Mile High with 25,000 fans. His 100th point here. This is one of the long-standing members of this organization. Left, of course, for a while. And
won a cup in Kansas City.
Won a championship and came back to Colorado.
Yeah, after.
And, you know, when you look back and you think about his play, you just think about him running. Running and not stopping.
Pedro has no help. He's got it one-on-one and wins a corner off a Bow.
And there's a lot more to his game than just running. But
let's go back to Chris Henderson running on the end of this cross.
And there's the ball that gets all the way backside. And none of the Galaxy players went with Henderson. And he pulls it back inside of the left foot off the end line. Pedro fills the lane and slaps it home.
Henderson had that goal at home in the Rapids win this season. Looking for the short corner. Nope. Tremblay's going to take this one. Good ball. Powell coming through. Throw a hand on it. Daryl Powell, can he get up? Borchers sets it down. Looks for help. Chung with the left. And it went off of Powell. Nat again in on it. And this one rolls out to Herzog.
Chung's shot, I think, was blocked by Pedro. Did you see Borchers doing the dance, though, when the ball came out to him? He was like, here's my chance to win this thing.
It kind of spun away from him.
And he was like doing a little dance there and ended up just dishing it off to Chung's left foot. Pretty good decision. And unfortunately for the Rapids, Chung's shot was blocked. There's yet another foul.
And as we go back to live action, Powell gets whistled. Albright with a restart. Herzog over the top. Cannon off his line, grabs it away from Moreno. Moreno has the goal for LA. And he replaced Carlos Ruiz. There's the jump ball.
Cannon going up strong. Took a couple knocks tonight. Got tangled up with Moreno on the way down.
Borowski beats Henderson to it. Tries to play it around Mastroeni. Can't. Cannon's going to want that goal back now, huh? Because Kobe Jones hit one right at Joe Cannon that he got a hand on, and Moreno scored on the rebound. Little obstruction on Beckerman, no call though. I don't think Saragossa would have even been able to get to the ball.
That's Whiting call. That's
right.
Exactly right, because there's no doubt Beckerman stepped in the way and couldn't play the ball himself. But since the ball was unplayable, to play on.
Moreno has a step on Borchers, the goal scorer, trying to get down to the corner. That runs. Week from tonight, DC United at Invesco Field at Mile High. It's Freddie Adu coming to town, and it's free jersey night for 6,500 kids. And tickets begin at $10. Get your tickets for the game next Saturday night. Pedro again back to goal, but can't get on it, and Ricky Lewis clears it away.
You got to get your jersey, don't you? You got to get your jersey. It's jersey night.
I'm not eligible.
No, but I mean, like, you got to get it. Like, if you're one of these young guys, you got to get it.
Yeah, you got
The Rapids are your pro team. You live in Denver. You support them. You have to have their jersey.
And you wear it.
Yeah, and you wear it because they wear like people that they'll never ever see in their life play different sport. They wear their jerseys. They got to wear the home team, the home soccer team's jersey.
And it's black and blue.
Yeah. Thank goodness it's not the green anymore. I have this jersey. I never had the other one. I wear it to sports bars.
What sports bars do you go to, Tom? There's Moreno.
It's either that or my Elway jersey. The old orange one.
Yeah, none of that new blue stuff, right? Moreno now on it. Thinking about a cross. Kachow there. Plays it back. Albright. Down to the corner. Gets under it. Little miscommunication here. And a right by Herzog. That's not his dominant foot.
I was thinking the same thing when you said miscommunication there, Mark, because the Rapids had two guys on the back post, and it looked like Tremblay had a better chance to get a better clearance off. Yet Crawford took it anyway.
Yeah.
And Tremblay let him know about it afterwards, but, you know, they had two guys.
Well, that's the kind of one. Even if Tremblay calls, if you're Crawford, you kind of go, I got to get this out of here.
Well, I think you got to trust your teammate, and if Tremblay's calling you off of it, I think you got to let him have it. Seth Tremblay getting more spot duty for the Rapids. Local guy out of Arapahoe High School.
Didn't you have a Junior Agogo Rapids jersey at one point?
Yeah, I did.
There's Seth. Beckerman makes a little run. Kachow sees him. Call the handle. Tough ball to bring down on the run.
6,500 jerseys they're giving out?
Yeah, the first
6,500?
16 and under.
Wow.
Freddie Adu, week from tonight. Peter Novak's team. And DC United plays LA this Wednesday night. So as Tom's been talking about tonight, if you get direct kick, you can watch that game midweek, I'm assuming, and get a look at DC United before they come to Colorado next Saturday. Bo over the top. Moreno making another run. He's been a workhorse here in the second half. There's the numbers for the direct kick packages as Lewis looks up. Sends one across. Borowski turned around, let it go as Herzog was making a run. This is Albright. A couple of guys open on the 18, but LA's got to go backwards. Bo looking for numbers for LA. And what a play by Mastroeni. He knows it because Nguyenwa was right behind him. And he had to lay out on it, and he's laid out.
Hurt his back a little bit when he landed.
He had that.
But it's Mastroeni again.
Yeah, he had that hip injury from that friendly he played in Poland with the national team. That kept him out of some games. That's why Hankinson has a concerned look.
Every team has a guy that they cannot afford to lose. For the Colorado Rapids, it's Pablo Mastroeni. This is a guy, he landed right on that kind of side, lower back, right hip bone area. There he's holding it right there.
The option is Gary Sullivan, the rookie, the defender who came in and played up top at the end of the game against New England. Remember, he spelled Pablo in that game against LA back on April the 17th.
Like I said,
you see Sullivan.
Everybody's got a guy they can't lose. This is the guy.
Wait, who does Sullivan look like? Real quick, Tom, from last year.
Brad Pitt?
No. Carrieri, but about a foot taller.
Except this guy's mouth is shut.
Sullivan's had a different. He's had a different hairstyle every week. This is dangerous, and Cannon off his line. Chris Carrieri now playing for the Rochester Rhinos in the A-League.
Good for him.
And you think he's probably talking there too, right?
More than likely. But that's a guy that a lot of people have talked about the Rapids could have used. Very productive, no doubt about it. And we've talked about the depth issues, and when Spencer goes down right away, of course, immediately you think of that. You think of that player who's now in the A-League as a guy that could have helped him off the bench. Tonight,
Herzog with the left, he has a blast, and Cannon saw it and read it and let it go.
Everyone on the Galaxy bench stood up when Herzog cut that ball over to his left foot. It's a well-known fact. He can tack it when he gets it over there on the cannon.
See Moreno, watch, he holds, and then he sees him.
And there's the touch. Get it over there. Those were his bread is buttered, but he hits that one high. Cannon lets it go.
Coming right at you. 26 goals for the Austria national team over the years. Out to the right side. Crawford cuts it back.
I'll tell you, every time Suarez wins a header, which by the way is almost every time the ball comes to his head, he's got to fix his headgear afterwards. Heads it, fixes it. It's got to be distracting.
Step over Henderson, left foot. Chip through, Hartman there. There's Herzog, added in the offseason. Ian Kurowski, of course. Mauricio Cienfuegos retires.
No, we'll just pick up Kurowski.
Yeah.
No problem.
By the way, they're having a big farewell match for Cienfuegos here on June the 5th. And that's going to be before the Kansas City Wizards game. And Cienfuegos is going to play a half for the best of El Salvador side and then a half for the ex-LA Galaxy players side. 8 years here, number 2 points all time for Cienfuegos in LA. On that LA side, Jorge Campos, Paul Caligiuri, Greg Vanney, Andrew Shue.
Will his sister be in the audience? Elizabeth Shue.
That would make it a little more interesting. And Genoa, who's got the blue boots just like Pedro. Zaragoza going backwards, now switches fields. 86 in. Moreno the goal for LA, about 62. 72, Pedro. Good slide by Crawford. Bring your family and enjoy the Rapids for just $59. 4 tickets, 4 sodas, 4 hot dogs. Rapids Family Night, the next one, this coming Saturday. Albright over the top, Cannon lets it run. It's when the Rapids play DC United coming up in a week. It's the next family night. Cannon going to waste a few seconds. Thought about playing it wide right to Crawford, tells him to head up, and he's going to unload on the goal kick. Kurowski, I saw him take that look around his back. He let it run instead of bringing it down.
Well, Kurowski was dynamite last week against the Dallas Burn, but he has been held in check here tonight, and you know, so much of him getting free can have a lot to do with the presence of Ruiz on the field. Tonight, Ruiz going out with the injury, and Moreno coming up big for LA. But I think it more bodes for how well the Rapids are playing defense right now, Mark. I mean, we've talked all about how good LA has been going forward. 11 goals, 12 now tonight. And the Rapids defense has been good. Cannon probably should have held the goal, or they'd be posting a shutout right now.
All right, Herzog taken down. It was a combo of Mastroeni and Powell. Tremblay won't put the ball down, and Herzog's going to line up a left here.
And with, under 5 to play, they're going to have to deal with Herzog on these set pieces and an LA attack that will continue to come here. The Rapids defense, which has been very good, is going to have to hold strong here with under 5 to go. Under 2 to go in regulation.
Eric Simmons.
Oh, Cannon's got to get back in the goal. Cannon's got to get back in the goal.
Eric Simmons
moved
the wall back. Cannon came out. Herzog gets a left off, and that's over the top.
I tell you what, you've got to give Eric Simmons either credit, I'm not sure what, but when Cannon came flying out of the goal to reorganize that free kick, I looked at Simmons, and he looked like he was about to put the whistle in his mouth. And if he blows the whistle with Herzog, that guy right there on the ball, it's curtains. But he didn't blow the whistle for the restart, and Cannon got back in the goal. He was fine. I mean, Cannon was fine. There's the left-footed in-swinger. Tried to go up and over, dip it down in the wall. Cannon was there. Got a little help from the post tonight.
And then had one go off his hands, and Moreno cleared into the net.
And it wasn't like a slow roller from Kobe Jones. It was well hit. Nevertheless, Moreno pretty fortunate, I think, to get an opportunity to finish it.
That's a Rapids throw-in into the 90th minute. We'll get the stoppage time here momentarily. 1-1 game. Moreno and Pedro the goals. They're adding 3 minutes here to the game. Short one to Powell. Plays Kochel back. Slice through to Henderson. Makes a move on Suarez.
Tell you what, 89-32 into this game, and Chris Henderson with the quick little Cruyff move gets smacked by Suarez, who again has to fix his headdress before he gets back into the 18 to defend. And Chris Henderson creates a restart for the Rapids. See what they got drawn up. Only 2 guys in the 18, now a third and Tremblay, and the Rapids go short.
Henderson megs Albright trying to get around Herzog.
I mean, that's a killer. I mean, unless they're just trying to kill the clock by playing in the wide channel.
I think they are.
They don't want to put the ball in Hartman's hands, which is not a bad idea.
I think they want to get out of here with a point.
The Rapids, obviously, were not committing a lot of guys into the 18. But probably would have been better off just holding it down in this part of the field instead of trying for the Meg.
So now Albright going to push it. Go long, Moreno making a run. Mastroeni there one-on-one with him. They try to hold him off, cuts it back. Where's that play to? Powell. Well, that looked... I don't know.
LA was committing a lot of players to press the Rapids into the turnover, and they got it when Henderson tried to knock it up the field but didn't get enough of it. And LA now with a...
Yeah, they got Albright all the way up top. Karofsky's kind of withdrawn here. This is Chris Albright. Former forward, as you know, when he came into the league.
Yeah, nice thing to be able to push one of your defenders who's on the field up front late in the game, who's a forward at heart.
Tough ball by Herzog. Chung, let's see what he does with it. Does he cut it back and hold or continue the run? Plays it out to Tremblay. Now they'll come backwards. Keeps some possession.
Be careful here, though. They don't get too stretched out as they try to be very cautious here in the last few minutes. That's a pretty smart play by Kyle Beckerman right there. Dump it in the corner, reset your team. LA was getting just enough guys around that could have caused a problem. And you do not want to get that transition turnover, Mark, where you're coming out, going into the other end, and all of a sudden in the middle third you lose one. And Galaxy guys are cheating everywhere because they want to get this go-ahead goal at home. Beckerman makes a smart play.
Foul on Chung. Lewis lets it go. There should be about a minute to go in the game. Pablo away. And Suarez now looks up. Bow at midfield. Going to switch fields. That's Victorine. Cannon way out and up. Rapids just letting some clock run, trying to get out of L.A. with a tie. They've had troubles here in L.A. through the years, and
this is a huge point.
Yeah.
I mean, if they get it, it's a huge point. We talked about Spencer being out. The Rapids come in. They don't commit a lot of guys forward. As the referee blows this game final, that's a huge road point for the Colorado Rapids, and another good defensive stand against one of the hottest attacking teams in the league.
That guy, Pedro, first second-half goal of the season for the Rapids. And it was the equalizer in the 72nd minute. And the Rapids come out of the Home Depot Center with a point. So a 1-1 final here at the Home Depot Center. When we come back, we're going to talk to that man, Chris Henderson, who had an assist tonight on that goal. Coming back here, 1-1 the final.